And of course, we have Uratul, our special guest today, who is going to innovate with me because this is the very first time we receive a guest at a power hour. Most importantly, I ask you to be bold. Boldness in this course, and I'm pretty sure Uratul will confirm this, boldness is key. You have to be bold in your objective, in your behavior over the next 7 weeks, because this is how you are going to get the full experience. And you have to be so bold that you start feeling uncomfortable. And when you start feeling uncomfortable, this is my first victory, because I took you out of your comfort zone, because building up power is not a comfortable journey. It's very uncomfortable, especially at the beginning. So it's up to you to believe me or not. But if you really want this course to be a game changer, which I think you want, because otherwise you would not be here, then you have to be bold. You have to go out of your comfort zone, and you have to experiment with yourself. Because again, believing or not, your main obstacle to your power is yourself. That's the crazy thing with this power journey. It's actually you are your own. You are resisting to your own power, and some people do this under the pretense of, okay, I'm kind. I don't want to change my personality. I don't have time. I'm busy. All kind of excuse that you play for yourself. I know that because I was doing the same when I took this course in 2017. And actually, there is a power in kindness. That is one example. I'm very kind. I'm a CEO, but I'm very kind, and I feel I gain power. And believe it or not, you totally don't have to change your personality in order to gain more power, because actually gaining more power is going to give you the opportunity to be your true self. So it's the opposite, again, another counterintuitive stuff. Building up your ideas, your strategic, your disruptive content is a very important tool, dynamic, to build up power, because you are going to influence your organization with disruptive thinking. Lead is about change. The D in lead is stands for disruption. So please try to be a change agent. That's where your power is actually the most effective. Don't let power to the bad guys. What does it mean? It means that power, a lot of bad guys, they understood the rules of power, and they are using them very efficiently. And though you have bully people, you have bully dynamic, you have a lot of stuff. There are some powerful people in the history of humanity that have been absolutely terrible, killing millions of people, And then you have other powerful people who were famous for their kindness. So again, what you do with your power is totally up to you. I'm not going to tell you that you have to be good or bad or whatever. I'm going to tell you how to acquire power. And the rules and tools of power acquisition are the same whether you become a bad guy or a good person. So what I say in terms of moral judgment, don't let power to the bad guys. You have a kind of duty. If you feel that you want to improve humanity and, work for climate change and, empower people around you, you need power. You're doing power objective. It has to be crisp, measurable, and bold. If you feel comfortable after you write your doing power objective, something's wrong there. So I'm going to have Uratul introducing herself in 1 minute. I will ask her a few questions, and then I will open the Q&A session. So, without waiting further, I would like to introduce Uratul, the creator of Unstoppable, one of my funniest participants. I don't want to say best because you are also good, but she was the funniest for sure. She's the one who would bother me in the middle of the night because she bought a laptop in a shop and she had problem with the seller, and she was asking me any power tips to deal with her laptop issue, which I think was quite funny. But then Urato also conducted an interview of me. She was this year at the Me to We, a very active person, getting selfies with all the big professors and interviewing a lot of people. I think she's a fantastic person, and I thought it would be nice to let her talk today for whatever she wants to say, because we did not prepare anything. I trust her for that. So Urato, just tell us about yourself. Take your time. I will ask you a few very easy questions, basic questions, and then I will leave the floor to anyone who wants to discuss with you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Grisha. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Grisha. So, my name is Huratul, and I am from India. For those who are not from India, I live in the northwestern part of India in a state called Rajasthan, in a city called Udaipur. It is a beautiful city with 7 lakes and a touristy place. So, yeah, for those of you who are planning to travel to India, you must consider. I have been an entrepreneur all my life. Started at 23 with my first venture in e-commerce. It was a fashion e-commerce, and then the second venture in community space, where I had 25,000 women across 5 countries, and we were building a mobile app, and then COVID happened, and that's when we had to pause. And then I got interested into healthcare space and joined it's a startup based in Bay Area, right? And it's been a huge learning curve in healthcare space since then. I'm director operations there. That's a little bit about me on the professional side. On the personal side, I love to dance, and I'm doing my podcast called The Unstoppables. And that started with actually the course Building Power to Lead. So yeah, I mean, I can only say one thing, that for all of you, it's a blessing to have Gricha as a CF, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased or because I had him as my CF, and I respect him a lot, I learned from him a lot, but for all the courses so far that you will be in or you'll enroll in, you'll see that Gricha takes personal interest in each participant, and it's of course on you how much you take out of him, how much you bug him like I did, but if you kind of learn from him, he's somebody who puts his heart into his work. So he's not doing this just because it's like one of the things that he does, but he really, really wants his students to succeed, all of them, right? So it's not just me. If you ask other students also, they have the same thing for him. And that is why this course with him becomes even more special, because it's one of the number 1 rated courses of Stanford LEAD program, but then doing it with Gricha makes it even more special. So yeah, I'm very happy to answer all your questions if you have any, and I'm a little scared now that Gricha said I'm going to ask you questions because we have not prepared anything. I hope they're easy questions. So let's go ahead, Gricha.
Okay, so tell us, I was thinking my first question would be, tell us, what was the perceived difference for you between the before the power course and after the power course? Of course, you met me and you discovered a fantastic person. That's okay, but let's not talk about this.
Yeah.
What was your transformation, your personal transformation? And do you agree with the fact that the power acquisition does not require a change of personality, but rather help you go back or improve your own personality? So what can you tell us about this?
No, absolutely. So see, first talking about the first part of perception, right? I think when I started the course, I felt like building power to lead is more about we learn strategies and tactfulness and tricks of how do you kind of, work and do the power play at your professional setting, right, which is your workplace. And so my idea was only limited to that. One of the major learnings or transformations that I've gone through after the course or during the course is that how do you actually get yourself out of your own way, which is we all nobody is stopping us. We ourselves are the reason why we don't do a lot of things, right? We kind of postpone it, or we think, yeah, maybe we're not good enough, or what would others think, or maybe this is not the right time, and we keep postponing it, right? So you have to get yourself out of your own way. That's my biggest transformation from this particular course. Now, the other part of the question, sorry Grisha, what was the second part of the question? I forgot.
Personality change.
Yeah, so no, I think, like Grisha said, even I'm a very kind person, and the first question that I had in my mind is that for somebody who's kind and who has a lot of empathy, how do you actually come into a power play situation where people around you, are not sort of, that kind, or they're not, I mean, some people are shy, some people are not as talkative, they're not as extrovert. So I think building power to lead is first about self-awareness, who you are, right? And then what are your strengths, that how can you play them and build over them, right? So it's not about like changing your personality type, it's about learning and building over your own strengths. So yeah.
Okay, Uratul, tell us a little bit about Unstoppable. I mean, what is the idea behind Unstoppable? Why did you decide during the power course? Because I think the idea popped up during the course, so I guess it must be related to power acquisition. Why did you decide to do this podcast actually, and how is it going after 6 months? I would say 6 months from.
Yeah. So I think, Grisha, my main objective, like I had this plan for almost a year that I will start it, but as I said, that I was not able to because I was like procrastinating, thinking a lot over it. And then Me Too We happened, and before that our course happened, and I think that gave me a lot of strength to sort of cross that big barrier, which I was kind of not able to. And then once that, I think Me Too We also pushed me a lot when I met a lot of people, and then I was telling you that I am thinking and planning, but that's when I just started. So yeah.
And so how many guests did you have so far on Unstoppable?
No, so I have done like short clips, and with that short clips I've had like 86 people so far.
86?
Yes, on the campus. So I covered 86 people from Me Too Week event that we had. And right now I have like 10 speakers. So that's like the long podcast, like the 30-minute one. But the short clips that I did for 60 seconds, that's already 86 people have covered.
And so tell me, did you see impact of this initiative on your exposure, on your reaching out to people, and did you see anything happening on LinkedIn in terms of participation, connection, and so on from this initiative of Unstoppable?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like my LinkedIn has kind of grown a lot after I did these short clips. The engagement has been great. The network grows, definitely. I mean, it gives you a lot of, I think that's where the power of content is, right? If you have the right content and people relate to it.
Correct.
You don't have to make noise, but just a good content can do a lot for you. So yeah, something that you believe in and something that you put really well out there. So yeah.
Yeah, you see, I mean, what Uratul just said is really fundamental, the power of content. Coming back to the Rolling Stone, because I have an obsession there, a journalist asked one time to the singer, okay, what does it take to have to be so successful with the band like the Rolling Stone. I mean, they are now 83 years old average. They're playing a concert tomorrow, which is full with 15,000 people. I mean, they have been successful and influential and powerful for over 60 years. And so this journalist asked the singer, what does it take to be so successful? And you know what's the answer? He said, a good song. So this is for me the example of the power of content. Just a good song. It didn't have to be bold. It didn't have to be bossy. It didn't have to, to strategize on influencing the newspaper and so on. They just had a good song, and power came out of this because, of course, they did another good and so on.
Belief in yourself that what you are doing, others will only believe you if you believe in yourself 100%. Even if it is like a 90 or 95, I'll say, people can see through it. So I think we all can, right? Like, you can see through a person who is genuine and who is not, who is just making up, who is really genuine. So likewise, they can see through you. If you believe in this idea, if you believe in yourself, I think it wouldn't be difficult to convince. And I think some of the tools and tactics or strategies I would like Gricha to probably come in and sort of add. But yeah, my 2 cents are that on this. Yeah.
Thank you. Of course. Yeah, thank you, Ratil. Of course, believe, be bold. The bold advice apply to your case actually right now, and also never give up. This is I don't know if you noticed the slogan of this PowerPod. For those of you who pay attention, never give up, never surrender. This is in the logo of our PowerPod, there is this sentence, and this sentence is very important. As far as I'm concerned, this is about, resilience. Resilience is a very important word. And any of us who has been through some difficult experience in his life will recognize that actually the only way to go out of an extremely difficult situation is to be resilient. Never give up, never surrender, believe in yourself. Those are, golden words from Uratul, and they are the basis of your power. I mean, as we said, you are the biggest blocker to your power is yourself. So you can understand that in your case, Emal, if you listen to all those people around you who are sending you the negative vibes, they are destroying your spirit. And don't listen to them. I came in Vietnam in 1993. This country did not even have rice to feed all the population of about 90 million at that time. And I decided, I'm going to set up a chocolate business in Vietnam. So, and I moved there with my family in 94. And everybody, absolutely everybody in the industry told me, this is crazy, this is insane, how can you think that is going to be successful? Did you make a market study? Did you consult Nielsen and all those useless information? And today the same people, they told me, you had a vision, and I am market leader not only in Vietnam but in the neighborhood country. And now the market is 100 million people. I'm the number one chocolate maker in the country, and I have been able to influence from this Vietnam experience the cocoa supply chain at a global level to be more sustainable. So if I had listened to the people who were talking to me in 94, Emal, well, I would not be here today, by the way, because, life is a succession of opportunities and you believe in it or not. So that's what we can say at this stage. Any intervention, but I'll tell you a little story that relates to that. When I was taking the course, I was in a business. So that was 2017. I was in a business situation in which my joint venture partner reached out to me and they said, "Okay, Gricha, you are managing 2 business units in our joint venture in Vietnam. One is making money, quite profitable, and the other one is losing money and quite risky. And and they say to me, we would like to take back the one that is losing money, and we leave you focus on the profitable operation. And what do you say to something like this? Because I have shares in. I mean, it's a joint venture, so I am a shareholder. So somebody proposed to take out of your way a risky business that is losing money, and so you decrease your risk on shareholdership, and you decrease your workload and your stress because you don't have to deal with a money-losing business. And so I was writing an email saying, okay, yes, let's go for that. I will focus on the money-making business. And at the same time, I was reading the Blue Book, and one or two sentences somewhere in the middle of Jeffrey's book, the sentence was saying, in an organization, your power is proportional to the size of the budget you manage. Okay? And so this gave me a different angle on decision making. I was deciding under the angle of making profit or not, but this sentence in the Blue Book gave me another angle, which was decide based on your power acquisition or your losing power. And so I changed my mind and I said, okay, no, I will keep both business units under my management. And believe it or not, today, the one that was making money is making more money. The one that was losing money is making more money than the other. And so I have been able to build a really stronger power just by keeping a bigger budget, a bigger scope of operation into my control. That is really what I call, and this is the target of this course, this is what I call consciously deciding based on power acquisition, because all the angle and the parameters we use for decision-making process in our life, be it for work or even in the family and so on, we usually don't consider the power angle. And what I'm asking all of you is, after the course is ended, whenever you have a decision to make, you take your usual parameters, but you add the power angle. That is crazy important.
Yeah, no, Gricha, completely agree that especially in organizations, the power of acquisition and the larger pie that you're talking about gives you a bigger edge. One thing I'd like to add is, see, power is like a knife. You can cut an apple with it, right? And you can also, if mishandled, cut your finger with it. So it is a very powerful tool, right? And that's why, and sometimes, like we talked about the power of listening, and so is the power of silence equally important. In certain situations, the way you go silent, right, that also creates a lot of power. So those are, I think, the nuances that I think Gricha and you will learn during the course and the case studies and everything.
So the competition of power it's not about who is screaming the louder. It should not be about this. You will learn in the module 2 that one of the attributes that we ask you to develop is the capacity to tolerate conflict. Okay, that is related to that. But the competition of power, of power, the best way to win is to make sure that your ideas are better than the ideas of the other one. And your ideas, of course, today your ideas are less good than they are going to be next week if you keep working on them. And lead, learn, engage, accelerate, disrupt. It's all about idea. It's all about content. So developing continuously your content into a disruptive and making you a change agent from an intellectual point of view, which is why I tell you all, work less, think more, by the way. This is the way to fight the power, actually, the best way. Some of you already heard me explaining the stakeholder mapping, right? So in brief, the stakeholder mapping is you take a page of paper, you put the name of the main stakeholder in your life from the organization standpoint, and you give a green color for the supporter, a blue color for the neutral, and a red color for the blockers. And I have been explaining to all of you that the best way to improve your power ecosystem is to neutralize the blockers, which is exactly what you say. Listen to them, understand what they react to, and try to make them at least neutral or even better, a friend. That's the way to go.
I think you're also talking about somebody when it comes to ego and that clash that some people just don't want to understand, right? There's also always going to be this 2 to 3% that you just cannot manage, and in situations like that where you just cannot, right, you will always find the most difficult, right, where the flattery is not working, those neutralization techniques are not working. The power of work, which is how diligently you have worked, will always speak for itself, but you also got to build community around your workspace who will support you, and those have to be again powerful people in the organization. So organization does have a CEO, but there's also a CEO, there is also a CMO, there is also a CPO, there'll be a lot of people in the investors on the board. And so you got to make sure that if one person is creating that trouble, you have other 4-5 people in that organization with equal power or more power who are in your favor. And that's how you do the power play, right? And then you reduce the subsequent power of that one nuisance creator, or the one who's trying to kind of suppress you, or just not is beyond your capacity to be handled, right? So I hope that adds and helps you understand how could you manage. Yeah, able to relate with you 100%. And cultural dynamics do play a big role, right? It's unfortunate that people do not understand the thin line between where it is a disagreement to where it actually becomes bullying. Cultural, what you said that you've experienced it is true. Now coming to the solution part of it, I always say, and this is for Surinder also, I wanted to make this point, that build your power without dependencies on anything, whether it be organization, people, or anybody for that matter. And how will you do that? I am a huge believer that when you build your power through content on social media, where you become a voice, people will never try to mess with you, because they know you have a voice and people are hearing you and you have powerful content, right? Also, you're right that in the beginning they will not let you enter the core group, but your work with that time, right? As the time passes by, your work will speak for itself, and always talk data. Talk on data points, right? Which means that how much you worked, how much you did not. And I understand there is a lot of lobbying, a lot of people pulling you down, and that's where Grisha's point that you make that list of who are the ones which are on the extreme and you want to neutralize. If you cannot neutralize it, then at least find out who are the people who are still little friendly with you, and can you build on them and get them to a point where they start supporting you a lot, right? But other than all of these dynamics, if your own voice, right, is powerful enough, which means that independent of the organization, independent of your family members, independent of anybody, if your own voice is powerful enough, then nobody can take that away. So always build on that, right? Don't combine power, or don't attach power to just one startup that you're doing. I started 2 and I closed 2, right? Paused on the second one. Your power should not be dependent on that one venture that did not go successful. You need to detach yourself from that, right? Never show people that you fear anything. The moment you show that you fear losing this job, or you fear that the startup will close, or you even approach the investor with a fear that my funds are finishing up, people get that, right? And they would play on that. They will never let your weakness go, and that is what they are going to take advantage of. So never give away your points to somebody. I think that is a very, very important point, especially in organizations, Anupriya. You should never tell them that you want this job so badly that you will take everything from them, Yeah.
have to bring your content. And if you cannot bring the content to the core, inside the core circle, always remember that there is something on top of the core circle is the shareholders, you know. And in my case, I have been able to influence big time an organization by connecting with the owner rather than connecting with the group executive committee. It's just at the same level as all of us, and we are all building our own power. We are still doing it. We are still learning. We are still making mistakes. So understand this. Don't blame yourself if you do mistake. I mean, people who don't do mistake, it means they don't try, of course. So thank you, everybody. And that's it. I mean, very good power hour. Very much, everybody. And see you soon. Huh?